Now my man Coleman Scott. And Coleman, it's been pretty crazy for you lately. I mean, I've been in the news a lot with on the coaching side of things and up for the Oklahoma State job. Now you're going to be at Ohio RTC. So there's been a ton. But before we even get into the coaching stuff, the wrestling is happening right now in the Olympics, and you are an Olympian and a bronze medalist at that, and you had a completely different kind of journey to the Olympics that I want to dig into. And I know we've talked about it in the past, but what was that journey like for you where, there were different qualifications? You had to wrestle Reese, you had to wrestle Bunch, you had to wrestle in Times Square. What was that entire journey like for you to qualify for the Olympics before even getting there?
To say is an emotional roller coaster is probably an understatement of what I went through just leading up to the trials, even from going to the trials and then World Cup, and going into the trials knowing that Reese and Sean were sitting out, and um, you know, and then knowing that there's going to be a wrestle off, but you got to win the trials anyway, and Mike Zadek, Logan Stieber, Valenti were all in the weight class, so wasn't a given. And then just to know that you have the right to wrestle off after that. And we didn't know what the wrestle off would be even until the day after the tournament at the trials, right? So it was really, we had no clue where it was, when it was, or anything. So there was nothing set in stone. And so it was just sort of a belief in the people around you, ourselves, my family, my friends, and my coaches, and really just trying to stay focused on me and my training at the moment in that time of what I needed to take care of, and don't worry about all the rest of it, which is easier said than done in a certain aspect when there's a lot of controllables that you couldn't control, and or I couldn't control, and nobody could. So it was just sort of, do everything I can to be the best in the world right now. I don't even know what it looks like to make the team yet. But you got to, the first and foremost, you got to win the trials to just give yourself that opportunity to be in the next step. And then they sat down the day after and discussed what the next step would be. And then I found that out and went to World Cup, and then into the wrestle off there early June, So yeah, it was just sort of belief in everybody around me, and keep it simple, and just continue to get better at wrestling, and don't lose focus on what you wanted to do and what you're doing right now.
Yeah. And you talked about the wrestle off, and like I said, it was in Times Square, and we've had a number of matches that have happened in Times Square before where the mats
Hmm.
aren't the best quality, right? They're slippery some years. It's at night on top of a building in Times Square. It's super hot. What was it like on that day where you had to prepare for not just one match, but two? And then what were the conditions like?
Well, early in the day. So Reese and I wrestled about 1 o'clock. I remember a little bit of rain came in, so they rolled the mat up, rolled it back out. It moved out. The rain moved out, but the sun, at 1 o'clock in New York and Times Square, that sun is sitting right over top of the buildings, right on the mat. So the mat was like extremely hot. Didn't want to touch it. That material gets like so hot, so you didn't even want to touch it. And so I remember that. And then at night, the oddest thing that evening was that it wasn't, there was a bunch of other matches that were sort of exhibition against Russia.
Hmm.
So everybody was sort of light, and hey, this is just a good match, and this and that. And I'm going like, screw that. This is our wrestle lot. This is like to make the team, right? So I was in a totally different mindset than the rest of the team. Really didn't wasn't around them a whole bunch, just because it was like, hey, they're in a different phase right now. They had already made the team. Everybody was qualified but us, So it was like, hey, we I got to take care of business. I'm going to stick with my crew, and we're going to do our thing, and then we can hang out afterwards. But right now, I can't. There's nothing light about this, right? I was making weight. I think that they had got some weight to make. They had gotten a couple kilos, so it was a little bit easier. There wasn't much weight cutting except for me,
Hmm.
right? Me, Sean, and Reese, like we were sort of zoned in and doing our own thing, type. Even though there was this other event going on, so that was probably the biggest thing. And then of course just when you're outside in Times Square, it's not like it's a normal venue that you just show up and you put your stuff on and you're getting a warm up. Everything was abnormal. everything, right? Like in between matches or our warm up, whatever it was so unique to that situation, that you couldn't be so concerned that this isn't my normal routine. It wasn't going to be,
Hmm.
right? It wasn't. It just I'm outside. I've got shoes on, walking around the street. In between matches, I'm sitting down next to the hot dog vendor, under the awning, just trying to regroup, whatever, So, and there's just chaos sort of around you at all times. Whereas in a tournament, it's a lot more controlled. Hey, I go over the corner, I'm in my space, I got my people around me, we're inside, and it was such an abnormal venue and area, that you sort of just had to stay focused on the task at hand. You couldn't let everything else affect you, and it wasn't going to be perfect because it was we're outside. If weather comes in, we've got a plan B. If this happens, you're over here. So I didn't worry about that stuff too much, but it was some of it was going on, and you sort of just like I said, just sort of did my thing, and very fortunate to have the family and the friends and the coaches around me that sort of let me or kept helped me keep focused on what I was doing. They weren't worried about it. I wasn't worried about it. We were just there to try to make a team and then move on. I wanted to be an Olympic champ, and you can't do that without being an Olympian, right? And so that was the mindset. Hey, let's do this thing. Let's do it right here, and then we'll move on to the next step, the next thought process.
Hmm. So that next thought process and the next phase was the Olympics once you made the team. Once you get to London, everything is settling in, but you have the opening ceremonies where, I've seen you guys posting pictures of, opening ceremonies where you're meeting all the different other athletes. What's that like to be around literally the pinnacle of athletics in the world and then have to go compete?
It's like euphoria, right? Like being in the opening ceremonies, like it was probably the coolest moment of the games in essence, right? Everybody, from the biggest stars, from Kobe to LeBron to all those the basketball players, the track guys, Tyson Gay, all of them, they were just like us, phones out, cameras out, taking pictures. Like they're like, this is the coolest thing ever. We're just here with the best athletes in the world representing the same thing, right? Everybody's on the same page. We're representing the red, white, and blue. We got USA on our chest. Like that's the cool thing about it. And you sort of just go through, it was a little different for us as we were walking the whole time. I saw this year that, they're on the boats and they're sort of all together. It was a long day. It was a long afternoon. Then didn't get back to after midnight to the village and all that. But you just sort of, you fall back and you go forward. You're just walking with the best athletes in the world, and being able to just have conversation and on such a like a low stress level for us because we still had a little over a week. I was the second to last day of the Olympics, so I had a long time before I competed. So it wasn't about competition then. In my mind, it was still about training and getting better. And some of those guys were competing day one, day two, and they were right there with us, right? So they were in a different mindset, was where I was a little bit more relaxed, just knowing, hey, we practiced earlier today. I've got practice tomorrow. There's nothing that sort of changes. There's just I'm gonna be on my feet a few more hours today. And it was just neat getting to see how much it meant to these superstars that we see every day on TV, how much that moment meant to them. When you walk in and the entire place erupts, and it's for you guys, it's for us, it's for this community that have the same goal of putting a gold medal on and hearing the national anthem, right? That's what we want to hear, and so that was it was neat for me to just be a part of that. I think that every time that they dress up and they got the uniforms, they're always a little bit goofy looking. It's not something any of us would wear on a daily basis, but it was neat to be a part of, and still have it hanging up, and so a lot of great memories from that moment, from that day, of just being able to be a part of something way bigger than wrestling or way bigger than me.
Mhm. So I'm going to skip ahead to your bronze medal match. Going into that match, what's your thought process? What are your feelings like? Do you try to make it like an NCAA finals match, or do you have the gravity that this is different?
Um, I think back then it was all in one day, right? The whole tournament was my day was like my weight was wrestled the entire day, right? So, a couple hours earlier, I was devastated. I was in the semis, still thought I was the best in the world, but I lost, right? Asgaroff was better than me that day and beat me. And so you've got to recoup within a couple hours. I was literally just never thought about what the process would be if I lost, how I was going to overcome that. Never had that thought in my mind. So, being able to rebound and shift my focus and Jim Ravenak, who was a Gator Club guy and a supporter in USA Wrestling, really pulled me aside after a couple hours after I'd lost and really said, you know, brought it to realization that yes, I understand you want to be a gold medalist. I wanted you to be a gold medalist, but if you continue down this path of dropping your head and moping around, you're going to walk away with nothing, right? And long term, that's going to hurt worse than this loss in the semis. So change it now. You've got 97 people here, plus just in family and friends, but there's hundreds of people here supporting you. There's thousands at home. There's all these people that want to see just you succeed, and they've got your back. So don't let this one match dictate what you're going to do the next one. And so I had to change my thought right then and say, hey, okay, yeah, you're right. It's now or never. It comes down to 6 minutes, and I can either walk away with a medal or I'm walking away with a participation uniform from the opening ceremonies. That's it, right? You just get the gear and a pat on the back, and that's it. So and it really changed, what I did moving forward just in life and, my thought process and how you can overcome something that was defeat. And I don't think anybody goes into the Olympic Games, any country, any sport, and says, I'll be happy with second, or I'll be happy with, like, we don't even talk about that, right? Every sport, it's I'm gonna win. I'm gonna be an Olympic gold medalist. So nobody has the thought process of, hey, what happens after you lose? How do I come back from that? And it's not, hey, get a good night's rest. Hey, you're competing in a couple hours, so figure it out now. And that was something I had to figure out. And I remember sitting in the hotel room, me and Terrell, and it was just us two, and it was just it was sad. We had both just lost in the semis, and how do we come back and fix this thing? How do we, it's let's end on a win, and it's, again, easier said than done. And sort of had to change it right then, because the guy I was wrestling had 2 or 3 wins on the backside already. He had already overcome the defeat. He's on the other end of that. And so it was a cool moment. And, it wasn't for me. It was for all the people that traveled there and all the people that put their life on pause for all those years to let me chase this crazy thing of being an Olympic gold medalist. My parents growing up traveled me around the country. Jessica and Leighton, at the time, them, my in-laws, my mother-in-law staying back and watching Leighton for all of us to go travel. All those little things that really had no bearing on me, but they were doing it for me.
Mhm.
And that's what that was for. Hey, get your head out of your butt and let's go. There's a lot of people here that love you, and no matter what, they'll love you. But it's gonna change the trajectory of what you do in this sport and in life by sucking it up and showing these people that it's a lot more than yeah, you took a loss, but let's who are you after that? That's gonna mean a lot more.
Yeah. So now I'm gonna jump to the coaching side of things. You mentioned having a loss and needing to change trajectory with where
Mhm.
you're going. And recently you were up for that Oklahoma State position and you ultimately didn't get it. So what went on through that process? How were things portrayed to you that they were going to be going in a different direction with David Taylor? And how did you kind of pull yourself out of that?
Um, I think it's sort of the same thing. It was never about the job. It's never about the job to me, right? It never is about me being a head coach. That's not why I got into coaching. Um, I got into coaching to change people's lives, right? I believe that there's a couple professions in this world that you can progress through and really have an impact on, kids' lives, child's lives, and education, right? Teachers and coaches. I believe that those are selfless positions that you don't do it for yourself. You literally, I mean, it's the word, it's selfless. You do it for others and to help them achieve or change their life. Having first generation college students come through, get a degree, and reach a level in wrestling, and it changes the whole trajectory of what they do down the road, right? So that's why I got into coaching. So it was never about the title of me being the head coach at Oklahoma State that I won or that I wanted. It was about a place that I loved, and the people that were involved in the program that I loved, and that's why I wanted to come back and be a part of it. And things didn't work out, and things were said and done, and it's over with. It is what it is, right? So it's my duty to sort of, I've got a wife and three kids, and I got three young kids looking at me of what am I going to do now? And it's not just sit here and sulk and do that. So I've taken the approach to let's better our lives, not my life, our lives, and figure it out. So going to be helping with Ohio RTC, and kudos to their staff and Jay Jaggers specifically. I've known Jay for a long time. We graduated high school together, so we had seen each other for years. Over 20 years I'd known him. He was one of the first ones to call me. First one to pick up the phone the day after everything happened and just have a conversation. That's when you're sitting there and things happen the way that they did, and that I didn't expect, and whatever. But the people that are willing, that are there, and that are there and that are genuine, that's when you find true who people truly are. And that's how it initiated, and that's how it started, and just off an idea and a thought, and so again, it is what it is, and it's our duty, Jessica and I's duty as parents to a young family to show them who we really are. And like I said, it wasn't about the job. It's about changing lives and pressing forward and showing that we're resilient. And I'm at peace with where I'm at, and like I said, we'll see where the Ohio RTC thing goes in a year, and if it's for me, it's for me. If not, it's somebody else's plan, and it's their timeline. It's not mine, and it's just my duty to be there when it happens. And when God has a plan for you, and sometimes we don't agree with it in time or know what it is, and we can get upset and all that. But again, it's not my saying and doing, and I'm just here to abide and show my kids that I'm a strong human, and I can overcome adversity, and I have before and have a lot in wrestling. And I believe that that's probably the greatest thing about our sport, is that I believe that I'm prepared for this situation because of wrestling, nothing else, right? My upbringing in wrestling has shown me that we can persevere through this and come out the backside stronger. And if I continue to stay in coaching, I will. If not, then so be it. It's not, that's the plan.
Mhm. So yeah, I know you mentioned in another interview that you might not, you might leave wrestling. You might not come
Yep.
back to wrestling. How did you make the decision that you were going to stick around in wrestling and join the Ohio RTC right now?
Yeah, it'll be, we'll see where I'm at, to say that I still have a better day. Absolutely. I'm human, right? And it's going to be work for me to get over all that. And like I said, it's God's plan. If he wants me to continue in this space, he'll guide me and show me. If he doesn't, then we'll see. I don't today. I don't know what wrestling has got for me to give or me to give to it. I think I've given a lot to it in the last 30 years, 30 some plus years. But if it's time to hang it up and move on to a next profession, but as of now, I felt that it was time to give back a little bit to Ohio, and they were there, and they they created an opportunity for me, and I'm just grateful that there are people out there that see that and hear it. So we'll see where it takes me. Like I said, I'm living day to day right now and not really planning out ahead. And every decision I make is going to be what's best for my family. I think that a lot of decisions in our world of coaching and wrestling are contingent upon what's good for me, or the individual. That time's done. It's not about me. It's when you have a 13-year-old daughter that wants to play high level sports, I got to make sure that they're in the best situation. I got two other boys that are growing up at 10 and 6. So I got to make sure that every situation and the next decision is about them. It's not going to be about me. It's going to be what's best for them. And that's all I'm looking at right now.
Mhm. So you mentioned that Jaggers was the first person to call you literally the day after all the news broke and everything else came out. But it was a conversation of, how are you doing? How are things going? It wasn't
Yeah.
about coaching or anything else. When did those conversations then shift from how are you doing to what do you think about coming to Ohio RTC?
It was probably more of after a couple times talking and just checking in, it was more, hey, why don't you come out here and just hang out a little bit? Why don't you see what we got going on? And I don't even know what position. Like, we've got to get creative. We've got a full staff, and Colin's retiring and going to move in, but let's just come out and meet everybody. Because I knew Jay and Logan, of course, knew everybody, but on a surface level. Colin, Bo, and Tom. But never more than just what's up, how you doing? Small talk. Jay and Logan, I probably go a little bit deeper, but um, and so just went out there and talked, and just kept communications open, and just figured out what made most sense for the family and I, and we just talked through it, right? And again, it was probably it just took the whole time, the whole 6 8 weeks, however long it's been, of just constant communication and back and forth, and us going out and meeting everybody and seeing if it was even a thought process or if they wanted us, and sort of both ways to see if we could work in any facet, and that's where we're at today. And like I said, it's I'm grateful that they would even think to have that opportunity there.
Mhm. So what role are you going to be playing with Ohio RTC moving forward?
Just helping with the RTC and helping with the team, and like I told Tom and Jay, hey, it's for me. Um, Again, whatever you guys need, you tell me. I can be a soldier. I'm been a head coach, been this, been that, but a different point in my life, I guess. And if you guys need me here, let's do it. If I, whatever you guys name it, I'll be there. So it's a very fluid situation in the sense that I said it's not about me, it's not about my ego. I don't need to control. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. I want to make you guys better, and you guys use me in any way or any facet you can.
Mhm.
I'm game for any of that. I'm not here to step on toes. I want to work with you. It's not my idea or this. I said I'll give input when asked. I'll sit there when I don't need to give input. Right. I don't need any of that personally. I just want to give back, and I do enjoy coaching and helping kids and helping people reach goals that they maybe thought were unattainable or they were big, and just changing lives. And that's all I want to do.
So as everything has been unpacked, right? There's been allegations of this or that. And
Uh-huh.
a lot of people are speaking to, financial things that
Oh yeah.
may not happen. I want to hear you kind of speak to those things and how you guys have handled them.
Sort of a totally unknown, different thing that I never knew existed. Going to be honest, like um, to say, to read some of the stuff that's been said about me, and I'm a person that's literally brushed everything off my entire life. Never, I don't care if people say I suck at wrestling or I'm a terrible coach. Like that has it has no hindrance in my life or my daily worry, right? But the stuff that had been said about financial misdoings and all this, I literally was sort of distraught, that a community that I don't even know where it came from, and still don't know where it came from. My lawyers are trying to figure it out because I've never sued anybody in my life, never done anything, never even ventured into that realm because I'm like, I don't care about those people. But it got to the point where it's it's like, first off, like, what the hell are you guys talking about? I'm an open book, right? Like, with my life, in any interview I've ever done, I don't tend to hold back. I don't really care about what people think of me. But when you say the things you have and you say you have facts, okay, okay, I hope you let me see your facts because I've got everything. And I've turned it over to an accountant and a lawyer, and they're like, Coleman, I don't understand. What are they even saying? Right? Like everything you've done is very kosher, and I've done your books for the last 10 years, and I've had your logins to every bank account for the last 10 years. Not even, you just giving, I have every transaction you've ever done through these accounts. So I'm very confused. And I said, me as well. Right. But here's the post, here's this, here's that. So my lawyers are working on it and getting through it all. And yeah, it's just an unknown territory. It's pretty sad. It's like, that old saying, kick somebody when they're down, like, didn't quite understand it. And again, it's pretty sad of a community that I did dearly love in the wrestling community. That they would go to these extents for whatever reason to belittle me, and my family and everything. And so that's probably the reason that I've been pushed to sort of, step back from the wrestling community and say, hey, these aren't my people. That's not who I am. I've never, uh, first off, I don't tweet Instagram. I think it's crazy that people do that, or Facebook, but for them to out of the blue comment about what I did, and not one person know anything for fact, because I do know for a fact that nothing was ever done. So, and like I said, I guess my lawyer will sort it out, and I've let him and passed on all the information of everybody that's made a comment and said, I'm just over it. I'm tired. You handle it, and if you got to sue them, you sue them. And I'm just over it anymore, and I'm going to step back from the wrestling community. And it's not a place for me. I care less about these people. I thought that they cared about us as people, and as competitors, as coaches, and as I did for this community. But I guess not. And like I said, it's a pretty sad little world that we live in. That's what it came to, and it's not what I wanted. It's not ever what I want to sue somebody, but I guess it is what it is. I didn't. I've never posted anything bad about somebody because I know the repercussions. And like I said, it's probably the reason that when I said I don't know if I want to get back into coaching, that's why. I don't want to be involved in a community that's how they act, right? And I know it's a minority piece of it, but I'm out, right? That's not me. I'll figure something else out.
Mhm. So with all the things that went on, and you said your lawyers are figuring things out, and
Hmm.
how did you wrap your mind around still sticking around and still, being part of
Um,
the DC?
yeah, I'll exclude myself from a large, vast majority of the community. Um, I believe that I'll help Ohio and Tom and Jay and those guys, where I can. But for me being involved in the community, probably not ever again. Right. I don't care at a high level to be that involved or dictate or help. And maybe I was naive to think I was giving back and helping, through coaching, and living I believe that I'm pretty morally strong and strong in my beliefs and where I'm at. And maybe I was naive to think that, so I'll help. I'll help in a certain sense, but to be fully engrossed and say I'm a part of the rest, probably not ever again. Right. I don't need those people, and they don't evidently need me nor care. And that's just sort of where I'm at. So it's going to be at my pace, my dictation of how much I give, how much I'm there. And like I said, it's about my family. That's what I'm going to worry about. It's not about glory. It's not about titles. It's not about this. It's about giving back and helping people that actually truly cared about me. that's it. So I'll help Ohio State and Ohio RTC and nothing more. I'm not going to do everything that I did before, be on the committee, this committee, that committee. Screw them, right? They want to do their thing. Let them do their thing. I'm not. Don't use me anymore. Because I felt like I've been pretty selfless in my career over time and giving back and helping out and being an advocate of growing the sport at an organic level, from youth all the way up through international and helping the women's world team and the senior level, all this stuff. And at the end of the day, it's like, why to get bashed about some BS that I know is false. And like I said, I've turned everything over because I've turned every account, everything, every penny that's ever come into my name over, and my bank law, everything, because I don't care. I'm an open book. Yeah, go look at it. I know nothing ever came through me. So feel free. I don't. If you have any questions, ask me. And if not, here's all the posts and everybody's name that sued me. Here's their address. Here's their phone number, and get after it. Do what you got to do, and tell me what I owe you.
Mhm. So to end on a positive note, what are you looking forward to the most with now joining Ohio RTC and the guys at Ohio State?
Um, I think it's a program that's been I think they've done an unbelievable job of, first off, building. I was in college. I think when, I can't remember what year Tom took over, but he's done an unbelievable job of building that thing, and continuing to build it. They recruit very, very good kids. I believe that they have a high standard of character in their kids, and I believe that they want to win at the highest level, and they'll do it the right way. They're not selling out to anything. They're not doing this. They're not. They've built from within, and that's intriguing to me. That's cool, and the whole staff, top to bottom, like I go out and meet them, and they're like, hey, we just want you to be here and like be able to like be around you. Like, it was nothing about like they don't have an ego. They just want to help and give back, and as a whole. And that was like, wow, okay, this is like the full, six people here that literally have a very similar to mindset and thought process to me. And they just want to win and do it the right way. They're not going to take any shortcuts. They don't care who's sitting in the corner. They don't care about, just like I did. They just want what's best for their student athlete or their athlete at the international level, and that's it. Nothing more than that. Hey, let's do it the right way. And if I'm in the corner, cool. If you're in the corner, cool. I don't really care. I want him to reach his goals. That's it. And let's do it together. So that was the coolest thing about it, just that they were they, again, I've said the word a couple, but very selfless in what they're doing and giving back, and doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome. I'm glad that you were, willing to sit down, talk with me, be an open book, as you said, and discuss everything. So, before I let you go, you got anything else you want to talk about?
No, man, I'm good, and I appreciate the time, and excited to watch these guys go win some Olympic gold. It is cool to sit on this side, and I remember those moments, and take advantage of it. And it's a special time for the country every 4 years that you can be, again, uniform or unison. And like I said, I'm happy for those guys that have the opportunity to maybe reach a pinnacle of being an Olympic champ. And I'm here to support them. And that's it. But just thank you for your time and effort and energy you put into the sport. And you're one of the good ones.